Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Kylie Campbell, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Officer Cadet Toby Moore. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Stanmore Park Public School, visiting from Stanmore Park, New South Wales. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Students and visitors who are able to do so, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's first World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Second Lieutenant Ernest William Harris. Ernest Harris was born on the 22nd of July, 1889, in the Sydney suburb of Leichhardt, the youngest of 7 children born to George and Ottilia Harris. Ernest's father and uncle had established a mine at Silverton in Western New South Wales, where young Ernest spent his early years. In 1895, the family moved to Western Australia, where Ernest attended James Street Public School in Perth. By the time the First World War began, he was working as an accounts clerk for the Western Australia Railways. He was also serving in the militia, parading part-time with the 11th Australian Infantry Regiment. Ernest's father died on the 17th of October, 1913. By this stage, all of his children were adults and, despite the family's loss, were able to cope financially. Harris enlisted for service in the Australian Imperial Force in Perth on the 5th of January 1915. After initial training, he was allotted to reinforcements to the 12th Battalion. Private Harris embarked from Fremantle on the 22nd of February aboard the transport ship Artemis, bound for Egypt, where he trained for a short time. Harris was sent to the Gallipoli Peninsula 11 days after the initial landings, joining the 12th Battalion on the 5th of May. Harris became a member of the battalion's machine gun section and was involved in consolidating the southern end of the Australian line over the following months. On the 20th of July, the 12th Battalion was subjected to what was described as, quote, fairly brisk shelling of our lines by the enemy. Harris was wounded in the back by shrapnel and evacuated to Malta for treatment. After recovering, he returned to Gallipoli via Egypt, arriving in early September. He remained on Gallipoli until late November, when the 3rd Brigade, of which the 12th Battalion was part, was withdrawn from Lemnos. The 12th Battalion returned to Egypt at the beginning of January 1916. Over the next 3 months, the AIF expanded, and Harris was transferred to the newly raised 3rd Machine Gun Company. He sailed to France with his new unit in late March. After being introduced to the Western Front in the nursery sector in northern France, the battalion was sent to the Somme in July, where it took part in the Battle of Pozières. During the fighting, Harris was in charge of a 10-man section, operating 2 machine guns in an isolated position. Over the next 68 hours, the men took part in supporting the 3rd Brigade's attack on Pozières. Such was the nature of fighting that the men were unable to be resupplied with food or water, and some men managed only 8 hours sleep across 6 nights. When Harris's section was relieved, only Harris and 1 other man remained unwounded. In late October, Harris was sent to the Machine Gun Corps Officer Cadet Battalion at Bisley in England. He successfully passed the course and on the 24th of February 1917 was commissioned as a 2nd Lieutenant. He returned to France in mid-April and rejoined the 3rd Machine Gun Company in the field near Bullecourt on the 3rd of May. 2 days later, the unit was sent into the front line to relieve the 5th Machine Gun Company near Nouret. The move was particularly difficult as the Germans were directing heavy shelling onto the Australian front line, reserve and support trenches. During the day, the 3rd Machine Gun Company sustained 2 men killed and another 2 wounded. Among the dead was Ernest William Harris. His body was unable to be recovered. Today, with no known grave, he is commemorated on the Australian National Memorial at Villers-Bretonneux. He was 27 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember 2nd Lieutenant Ernest William Harris, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man, lying at their apposiere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.